Congratulations. With your approval and with the hard work of your paralegal and attorney, you've reached a settlement on your case. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that you'll have a check in your hands the next day? Unfortunately, it doesn't. There's a handful of things that need to happen so that we can make sure that we get the settlement funds into your hands and into your bank account. The first step of the settlement process, or the settlement phase, is that of signing the release. Now, when a settlement is reached, an insurance company or the defense attorney or whoever it might be on the other side is going to have a document that needs to be reviewed and signed by both you and reviewed by your attorney that will release the claim and allow you to accept the settlement funds. This is a legal document. I've seen them range in from a half a page to several pages in language, but don't worry, that's why you have a lawyer. Your lawyer will read through that document and make sure that all of the language in that release is appropriate or is associated with what the settlement is, and make sure that it's appropriate to sign, and then present that to you for signature either in person or through electronic signature. Once that settlement release is signed, that is when the check is now sent from the insurance company to the law firm. That can take several days. And oftentimes, that's something that we will follow up through throughout the process. Once we obtain your settlement funds, that comes in the form of a check made payable to you as a client and to the law firm in trust. And that settlement check is then endorsed and deposited into what's called an IOLTA account. That is a lawyer trust account that is governed by the state of Utah and has certain restrictions and laws on it that make sure that that money is protected for you. Once the settlement funds are deposited into the lawyer's trust account, now once that check clears and we have all the information we need regarding the bills and things that need to be paid out of that settlement, then we can start issuing checks and ultimately get a check in your hand. As this process takes its course, one of the most important things that we will do is address any outstanding medical bills that are associated with your case, including any liens that are on your case. A lot of times as you're receiving your medical care or health insurance is involved or what have you, different types of liens are on your case, and we'll make sure that those are resolved according to Utah law. We will also make sure as we're doing this process that these settlement funds are going to go as far as possible for you. And a lot of times that means that we will try and get reductions on medical bills owed or liens that are owed. And we'll work with the medical providers or health insurances or wherever it might be to try and make sure that we're making your money go as far as possible for you. Once that process is complete, we will then move your case into the settlement distribution and accounting phase and set up a time for you to come in the office and obtain your settlement funds. As this process takes a course, one of the big questions that we get, or frequently asked question, is what are the tax implications of a settlement in a personal injury case? And that is one thing that your legislators and Congress has done that is helpful for you. Generally speaking, personal injury settlement funds are non-taxable. Now, there's some ins and outs to that law or that rule, but when you get a settlement check from us and from the insurance company, our preference is that you have your taxes done by a tax professional and let them know about the settlement. Now, like I said, generally speaking, those settlement funds are non-taxable, so you don't have anything to worry about. But that's a question we get asked often, and like I said, generally speaking, these funds are non-taxable.